Should say in the studio, Bridget Phillipson, Secretary of State for Education, joins me. Secretary of State, good morning. Can I ask you, because it is the 28th anniversary, where you were when you heard that she died?
I do remember it incredibly well, because I remember my mum waking me up to come upstairs to say she'd seen the news on the television. I was a teenager at the time then, and it was a remarkable, she was such a wonderful person. It was such a remarkable moment, and it's something that has always stayed with me.
Now, did you have a good summer?
I did, thank you. Did you?
I did. Now, I'm glad you had a good summer, because your government hasn't had a good summer, has it? Let's be honest. In July, end of July, poll ratings 23%. One poll now down to 20, another poll giving Reform a 15-point lead. What's gone wrong?
Look, being in government's hard. You've got to make choices, and some of them are tough, sometimes not always popular in the here and now, but it's about doing what's right by the country in the long run. And we have made different choices as a government. The things that I'm talking about this morning around focusing on school attendance and behaviour, for example, and areas where...
I will come to that, but let me just ask you, in the last few weeks, Minister, we've seen 1 million more people on universal credit, no requirement to work. The number of people on benefit, 6.5 million, up 500,000 on Labour's watch. I thought you were all about growth. There's none.
We are. I'm impatient for change. I know that people want to see change. They voted for it last July. They want to see it in their communities. And I'm just as impatient as they are to make that happen. Now, I think everybody knows that there are lots of big challenges we face as a country, some of them pretty long-standing. That will take time. I know that's frustrating, but it will take time. However, I am confident that by the time of the next election, people will see even more being delivered in their communities. There's already progress, whether that's on bringing down NHS waiting lists, more police on our streets, more investment in our schools, expanding childcare that starts from tomorrow for parents. So big changes that have only come about because of a Labour government. Is there more to do? Absolutely there is.
Your colleague, Angela Rayner, you've got a colleague called Matthew Pennycook, a planning minister, said it's not a story. Well, with respect, Secretary of State, this story broke last Sunday. It's still a front-page story 8 days on. What do you say about it? She is said to have legally avoided £40,000 stamp duty in the way she designated the new property in Hove, which, by the way, is 270 miles from her constituency. It's apparently now her principal residence.
So her principal residence is in her constituency. Angela Rayner has also said that she's followed all of the rules and requirements of her. She said that in terms of all of the matters that have been discussed on the front page of newspapers. I would just add that she's, of course, as a free citizen in this country, entitled to spend her money as she chooses. If she chooses to buy a flat, that's absolutely her right. It's the right of anyone to spend their money on what they choose. But she said that everything she's done has been in line with the rules.
Of course. Now, let's just remind you, back in the summer last year, it was within the rules, but Sir Keir Starmer accepted £32,000 worth of freebies from a man called Lord Ali. You took money from Lord Ali. A number of your cabinet colleagues took money from Lord Ali. All within the rules, Secretary of State, but the perception was terrible, and I would argue that the government's political difficulties began in a big way and your popularity started to fall. Because it's perception, Minister.
No,
it may be legal,
understand.
but it's perception.
No, I understand that. And, political parties of all persuasions over many, many years have taken donations from individuals who want to make a contribution to their party in many, many forms. But of course, there were problems around what you've described, the way that the appearance that gave. And as a government, every day, what we're getting on with, what we're focused on, is how we deliver for working people in our country. We know that lots of people are still facing big pressures around the cost of living. We know that there are worries, for example, around the use of asylum hotels. That's been the topic of much discussion in recent weeks. We know that there is more to do to turn our country around. But I'm genuinely positive and optimistic about our country's future. Look, there are big challenges. Some of them go back many, many years. I'm not just going to blame the Conservatives, but that's where we are. But I am positive that our country's best days lie ahead of us. I think we're a brilliant country. Okay. There is so much we can do to harness the entrepreneurialism, the brilliance of our people, if we work together, if government gets behind it.
But, Minister, on this perception business, Jeremy Hunt criticised, he was Chancellor of the Exchequer, because it emerged he bought some properties and he was accused by a very senior Labour politician of exploiting Tory tax loopholes to save stamp duty. Who was that minister, shadow minister? Angela Rayner.
Okay.
Has she not done exactly the same, exploited loopholes and official guidance to save £40,000 in stamp duty? Would you have done it?
Well, I split my time between my constituency and London, like all MPs, and the same is true
But you'd be
of
conscious
Angela
of how it
Rayner.
would look if you appeared to manipulate the rules to save £40,000 in tax. And you're the Housing Secretary.
Look, Angela Rayner has set out, as a matter of public record, that she believes she has done everything that is necessary, everything that's been asked of her, and in line with all of the rules in terms of all of the coverage that we've seen over the last few days.
Last question on this, because I think you were challenged on this. Rishanara Ali was the Homelessness Minister, and you said everything she's done is within the rules. She resigned a couple of days later because it emerged she had made tenants, she evicted some tenants, and then she dramatically increased the rent. It was in the rules, you said. She resigned a couple of days later. And you defended her at the time.
She made that decision. She made the decision to step back. But of course, every case is different. Every case has its own merits, and Angela Rayner has set out her position.
In classrooms, 7 minutes in every 30 is lost to bad behaviour. 45 days a year, children lose to bad behaviour. Hundreds, if not thousands, of teachers are leaving the profession every year because of bad behaviour. What are you doing about it?
Behaviour is a massive challenge alongside attendance. You're right that it causes disruption to the whole classroom. It stops children from learning. It's a big problem that teachers raise with me in every school I visit. It's why today we're announcing new attendance and behaviour hubs with new attendance and behaviour ambassadors leading that work across schools in our country.
It's about parents, isn't it, a lot of it?
It's about all of us. So, it's exciting that we have the start of a new school term. That's an exciting opportunity for parents, for children, but also the chance to have a strong start. So yes, it's about parents making sure their children are regularly in school and they're backing schools around behaviour policy too. It's about government and what more we should be doing to support schools, and that's obviously around investment, but other areas where we're delivering, for example, the attendance and behaviour hubs, but schools too. So some schools manage this better than others. There's difference between schools, and I want schools to learn from the best, to share good practice, to work together. We've made really strong progress on attendance over the last year. We've got almost 150,000 fewer children missing school on a regular basis than a year ago. That shows what we can achieve if we work together. But now, at the start of the school term, let's have a real push where all of us, including parents, pull together.
White working class children, particularly boys, are still being failed by the education system. I know you've only been in power 13 months. What are you doing about that?
I care very deeply about that. It's my background. It's the background of the community that I represent. And it is a national scandal that for so many years we haven't been talking about this topic. We haven't been taking it seriously, and we've been prepared to accept that kids from white working class backgrounds don't go on to get good GCSEs, good life chances, good outcomes. Later on this year, I'll be setting out a schools white paper on behalf of the government that will take further action to address this. But the first step is we've got to acknowledge the challenge we face. We can't be afraid of talking about this. We've got to confront it head on and taking action to make sure that all communities, all families, all young people see that education is for them, because there is a big disconnection in many communities around the value of education, the value of going to school. And part of that is because it's not necessarily seen as the route to a good life and to a good job. We've got to turn that around.
No regrets over the schools that have closed down because you've whacked private schools with VAT?
Well, sadly, some of the schools that have closed down were schools that were experiencing financial trouble over many, many years. They're private businesses. It's up to them to manage their money like any other business. But we've actually got more private schools now than last year. So there's actually been an increase. There's always been a turnover of schools, some open, some close. We did make that decision to impose VAT on fees. That's because if we're talking about the life chances of children in our country, my first concern is the kids that we were just talking about who don't get the chance of a great education, how we pay for that and make state education brilliant.